Greetings, everyone. Divine greetings. Generations upon generations of wealth. To you and yours, may you be in good health and spirits. May you be in the purple, in your magic, in your intuition, in your imagination, and in your royalty, as we are royal. I give thanks for this is the day that we as a collective have made, and we shall be rejoicing and be glad in seeing the fruits of our creation. So I am so honored and delighted and thankful to have to be seated next to Goddess again, to share with the collective just the divine nectar that is so good, food for the soul, food for the spirit, and food insights and guidance to the Goddess Awakening. This is the Goddess Awakening, the prophecy, the call, and the vision. And before we get into today's topic, because I'm really excited about the topic that we're going to be discussing today, I just want to give our announcements in the beginning because I don't want to try to fit it in the middle and at the end. I would like for everyone to just be able to fully engage and absorb and take some deep breaths as we close after you watch this. So some of our announcements are we appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes. We very much appreciate you. We have started the Goddess Awakening on TikTok, Goddess Awakening on Instagram. And we are starting the Goddess Awakening channel on YouTube. It's just going to take a little more time to get that one organized. But we want to hear from you. If any topic that we bring up, if you have a question, if you would like to come on with us, we want to engage all of you in the conversation, and we would love for you to become a part of this whole interaction because a conversation means that everyone is participating. So your comments are participating, your likes are participating, and your shares are participating as well. And I know some people are like, you know what? This information that you all are sharing, and not just information, but just what you all are sharing is bringing value to my life, and I want to give value back. I want to have a reciprocal relationship with you all. And how can I give? How can I donate? So, if you would like to donate and you would like to give, please email us at the goddess, and then goddess spelled GODIS awakening at gmail.com, because we'll tell you exactly the P.O. box where you can send. We're only accepting paper, ink, or even printing materials. Goddess has put together some amazing material that she would like to get out to the community for free, um, and about the Goddess Awakening, and we want to support her. And so we are not accepting monetary donations, only donations of those specific items. So if you want to email us, please email us at thegoddessawakening@gmail.com so we can send you the P.O. box where you can send the paper and the ink, and any contribution of a printer for us to get the information out regarding the goddess. So, without further ado, I introduce you to the goddess, a divine artist, divine mother. She brings goddess fashion, and she has been doing this work for at least 3 decades. She's been holding the prophecy, holding this vision, and honoring this call that we have to be the goddess. So, hi, goddess.
Greetings, greetings,
Great.
sacred.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to be here and to have this conversation with you. I thank you and honor you for answering the call.
Thank you. I'm honored to answer the call. It is, you know what I've been hearing, Goddess? I've been hearing, and I believe I shared this last week, but I'm gonna share it again because it's so relative. This conversation that we've been having has been helping other goddesses to be able, it's like the conversation I've heard them say, it's the conversation I have in my head, and I can't talk to anyone else about it, and I don't know anyone else that I can share about it. And now I'm hearing you
Mhm.
all have this conversation that I've been having in my mind. And what a delight that is, you know, to know that and to give that safe space to goddesses all over that are just ready to activate. And today, the important topic that we're going to be discussing, I feel like, is going to help in that process. You know, we talked about isolation, right? How the goddess sometimes seems like they're ostracized from family, from friends. But one of the
Mhm.
other things and other pieces is about purity.
Mhm.
When you hear the word purity, what does that mean to you as a goddess?
It means to get. For me, it means clear. I think about getting clear, to have clarity, to the cleansing of the heart, the mind, the body, and the spirit. There's so many levels to this, purification, and that's something that I'm always working on. We hear people talk about doing the inner work, doing the shadow work, but I don't know if people realize what that entails. To do shadow work, for me, I'm only going to talk from my experience. Um, because of the experiences that we have had in our life, we have a lot of hurt, pain, anger, judgments, and perceptions based on our belief system. In order to get clear, to purify your mind and your spirit, you have to sit with the Holy Spirit, sit
Mm,
with God, and all those things that you carry inside of you in terms of your beliefs, in terms of the hurt and pain, is to be able to sit in the spirit and say, God, okay, this is what's hurting me.
mm,
This happened when I was a child. Why did this happen? It's going through a process of seeing things from a different light and getting the message and the blessing from those experiences, the wisdom, everything that I've went through in my life that I've judged as hurt and pain and carried that in that way, God showed me the blessing in it, the
mm,
wisdom, the lesson in it, you know, because we look at life through a filter, and that filter is the pain, the hurt, the judgments that we carry. In order to see things through the mind of God, we have to get clear. We have to clear all that out. We have to transmute those experiences into wisdom. And our wisdom is our power.
mm,
The
mm,
things that we go through in our life, we not only go through them for ourselves, we go through them for others. I am grateful for everything that I've went through now that I have an understanding, and um, I am pure in terms of I have no agendas for others. I have no hurt or anger to project upon others. I can sit and have clarity in that moment about what I am to say or bring to that person in that moment, because I have no hidden agendas. I have no hurt and pain that is going to be triggered
mm,
in action with them, because
mm,
I've settled everything that I need to settle with. And so my inner self could be at peace and
Mm,
be receptive to the spirit as so directed. So that's one of the purification processes. And also the body. Um, the diet is very important. I notice that when I eat chocolate or any type of stimulant, it affects my nervous system. And so there's certain things that you have to eliminate from your body so you can be at peace on the inside, you know, alcohol, things like that, understanding what the body needs, listening to the body. It will direct you on what it needs. Anything can be food. The body doesn't need food, it needs nutrients. So when you're eating something or when I'm eating something, I'll say, well, is this nutrition? Is this bringing nutrition to my body? And so, in drinking enough water. So purifying the body as well is very important because all that it affects your interaction with others and your connection to spirit. And when you're clear, and the more that you're clear and you're purified, you can have clarity in your interaction with others and not have any agendas and no triggers.
so would you say that purity is purity about behavior, or is it about the condition of the heart?
The condition of the heart and
Mm.
the mind. Yes,
So
because you can.
I apologize. I meant, is purity about behavior, or is it about the condition of the heart?
Well, the condition of the heart, because
Hmm.
that will affect your behavior. If you're holding anger in your heart, if you're holding judgments of yourself, of others, it's going to affect your interaction with others, and that's why you want to do the shadow work, as I mentioned. Sitting with all those things that you have hurt and pain about. Um, the spirit will show you the belief systems that have caused you to behave in a certain way. Um, and you will become an observer of yourself and really understand, you know, uh, is my interactions coming from a pure place, or am I holding something against this person?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or am I operating from hurt and pain from past experiences?
So, can someone appear to have a pure lifestyle on the outside while still carrying a wounded and hardened heart?
Yes, yes. Because eventually they will be triggered.
Mm,
Something will happen, and they will be triggered. And then sometimes too, taking spiritual baths is important. Being an empath, when I worked in the shelter, because we're energetic beings, and being an empath, I'm very open to other people's energy. If I don't do spiritual baths occasionally and do you know the sage,
mm-hmm.
I can absorb another person's energy.
Mm,
And so, and the crystals work too. To wear certain crystals on you, that helps with the energy. Because when you absorb that energy, then you have to expel it, and it's just a natural things that happen. It's like when people say, you know, uh, I caught an attitude.
mhm.
She
Right.
gave me, she gave me an attitude. I was fine, and the way she said hi to me, like you
Mhm.
meet somebody and they in a bad mood, and you say hi, and they say hi, in a tone that uh, it resonates with you in a negative space. You say, oh, she gonna say hi to me like that, because you feel it in your body. Being an empath, if you don't do, your prayers in the morning, if you don't do what you need to do to uh, protect yourself from taking in other people's energy, you will catch an attitude, you know, and give it back to her, you know. So you have to, put, as they say, put your armor on.
Mm,
When I'm gonna give you an example. Uh, when I worked in the shelter, it's a very toxic place. You have a lot of girls that have attitudes, and uh, I was working a lot of hours, and I wasn't doing my meditation in the morning. And when I do my meditation, I put myself in a white light. I envision myself in this sphere like an egg of peace. And
mm,
so in this sacred space, I embody peace and I embody love. And wherever I am, there is peace and there is love. So I visualize myself in this like egg like uh, cocoon or sphere, and I'm there. And so I am protected in this sphere of peace. And so, believe it or not, that sounds crazy to people, but if you're a person that could feel other people's energy, it really works. There's power in your imagination because everything comes out of the imagination. It's created in the imagination. So, in the invisible realm. So, I create this sacred space. I take my spiritual bath. I've done my meditation, but because I was working so many hours, I was not doing that. And my spiritual energy got so low that I couldn't even get it back up.
mm,
And I was afraid because I was like, I usually can go into meditation. And I went to church, and Othea Barnes is she was a well known entertainer in Detroit who became a minister. And I went to her service, and she walked up to me and she said, the Spirit told me to tell you to take 7 spiritual baths. And
mm,
she told me what to get, the frankincense and myrrh, the Epsom salt, and she told me what to do. And I did 3 of them and didn't do all of them. And, you know, got so down one morning, I woke up and I got a phone call from a friend of mine. And she said, I just picked you up in meditation. And I was told to come and give you a spiritual bath. Are you open? And I said, yes, I am. And she was a local entertainer. Her name was Samara, and I had hired her for a show. And I didn't really know her that well. And I knew that God had sent her to help me because I felt weak and depleted. And she ran the bath water for me, and she put crystals in there. And she told me what to do, what prayers to do to release that negative energy into the water. And then and basically I bathed myself, and she sat on the toilet dressed in white, and she was drumming and humming and stuff, and I was just releasing. She said, see the energy going into the water, and she told me the prayers to do. And then I did a bath to bring in positive energy, to anoint my body. And she told me to take off work for a couple of days, that I would probably sleep, and to never go into a place, where it was a lot of negative energy without protecting myself. So I had to go through that cleansing process, that purification process of my spirit. Um, what's interesting, a lot of people don't realize that the spiritual realm is real, and that we have a spiritual body, and that we do take on energy when we go places of other people. Because sometimes the attitudes and the negative energy is not ours, you know. And so um, working in the shelter, most of the women that work there, the average person only lasted 2.5 years, even the shelter managers. And the thing that they always say is that I have to leave this job because I don't like the person that I've become.
mm.
And
Wow.
so I watch uh, people that come into the shelter because they don't have a spiritual practice. They come in wanting to help young people. Oh, I just love young people because I've sat in interviews and they have a sincere heart to want to help young people, but they don't understand that they are spiritual beings and that what we surround ourselves, we can become. If we don't have a spiritual practice, we become contaminated with other people's energy.
Mm.
Uh, so after a while, you cannot tell the difference between the client and the staff
Ooh.
because they've absorbed and they become the client because they don't have that spiritual protection. And that happens in other fields, like police officers, people who deal with very negative people. If in environments, I want to say, if they don't have a spiritual practice where they pray every day, meditate every day, and have that spiritual wall up, they can become, you know, contaminated with that energy. And that's why, parents are very concerned about the environment of their children, who they hang around, the neighborhood, and things like that.
So, what would you say begins that purification process for the goddess?
Communion with God. It's the only way that you can do it is to sitting in the spirit and listening and talking to God, having that intimate relationship with God so that God can show you, the areas that you need to transmute into wisdom, into light, into love. The Holy Spirit will show you where you're not loving. It will show you um, that you're still angry about something.
Mm. So, is purification something that we do, or is it something that we allow?
It's both. It's a
Mm-hmm.
process. And the thing about it, there's pictures of Jesus, and there's they call it the Immaculate Heart, and you could see in the picture where his heart is like pure, it's like light, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the Immaculate Heart. It's the Immaculate Heart. He has no judgments, no hurt and pain. So he's a pure filter for the spirit to move through. Because when you carry hurt and pain, then you become manipulative in terms of others. You become, uh, what do you call it? Hurtful to others because you have something that uh, you want from them based upon hurt and pain from your past or from your belief system. Because the spirit will show you certain belief systems that are at work in you uh, that is causing you to have certain experiences that are not positive. So it's definitely the journey is about you and God. It's about mastering the lower levels of consciousness, which only spirit can show you, and transmuting that consciousness into higher consciousness.
Sometimes, we see like there's certain people, goddesses, that when it comes to this idea of purification, you have women who, or people in general, that keep a clean house, keep a clean car, always looking the part, right? But but at the same time, you were noticing that outer appearance, but they're still burdened by something inwardly.
Hmm.
So how does a goddess understand the difference between outward appearances and inner purification?
You know, I want to share something with you. I met a woman who was called to do, she's a prophetess, and she was called to do healing work, what you would call healing work. Um, and what she would do is she would sit with spirit. She would fast. If the Holy Spirit told her not to talk for a week, she wouldn't. She was totally obedient to the Spirit. Her diet was good. So when she would have the services, the energy or the vibration, the frequency, because the more you purify yourself, the higher your vibration is, the more clarity you have in terms of the spirit, the more your gifts come online. You know, if you're a healer, what they call a healer, you're able to touch people. And she was able to touch people, and people would just fall out because her energy was so high, her frequency was so high. And so the more you purify yourself, the higher your vibration and frequency is. And at one point, I was going through this purification, and I wasn't eating anything that I shouldn't. As a matter of fact, I was only doing water and salad. That was it. And I was in meditation and prayer for 30 days. And I created a line of garments to do a show, actually at Unity Church, for a group of pastors. And after the show, the women came in the bathroom and wanted to try the garments on. And when the women were putting the garments on, they were falling out. I mean, passing out. And it was because of the frequency
Mm.
that I was resonating at was so high. It went into the garments, and the women were just passing out. A lot of people may know Dr. Kiefer. I did the photograph for Dr. Kiefer for her book. And when she came to me, she said, "I want you to shoot the cover of my book," because she's seen my work. And so she brought this rack of garments, regular clothes that she wanted to put on. Well, in my mind, I saw her cover as her being in white. So I asked her, I said, can we do a white? I have a white garment. Can we shoot you in that first?
Mm.
And she put the garment on, and we could barely get through the shoot because she was passing out, almost passing out, and she was crying because of the vibration of the garment was so high.
Mm.
And we got done with that shoot. She said to me, "I don't need to photograph anything else. This is what the cover of my book is supposed to be." So for people who have her book, that is my garment on the cover.
Mm.
So
You,
as the goddess, when she is in her purity, the more pure her thoughts are, the more pure her body is. Um, she is vibrating at such a level that when she walks by somebody, they could feel a difference. And so that's the space that the goddess needs to be in order to create contrast in the world. Because people, she looks different, she glows, that's another thing. And because she's vibrating at a different frequency, people can feel that there's a difference. Like, what is that energy? And it just feels like love. It feels elevating to that person. And then they want to know, what is it that you know that you are able to be project this peacefulness? What is that? I want to feel like that.
mm.
And that's what the journey is really about, self mastery. It's about mastering yourself, becoming a light in the world through purification of the mind and the body. It's really not about fixing other people and being available for the Holy Spirit to speak through you, to create through you what it has given you to create.
Mhm. So if someone watching today wanted to begin their own purification process, What is one thing that they could begin doing today? And we're at our last 3 minutes.
Changing their diet, being conscious of what they're eating, you know, possibly fast, take spiritual baths, uh, and meditate and commune with God every day.
Hmm.
Have intimate conversations with God.
Mm, yes. Purification isn't about becoming someone else because you're already a goddess, but it is about removing everything that has settled upon the heart until love can flow freely again, till we feel light. I at one point heard from a narcissist, you need to purify. And because of the person's behavior, I didn't receive what they were saying, right? Because I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm I'm not a person that lives a worldly life. I don't go out. I can't drink they just don't let me drink alcohol and I can't do these certain things. So what are you talking about? Purify, right? But
Hmm.
I realized there's so much that happens that contaminates our heart, like what you discussed, environments that we go in, past experiences that we've had, things that we've held on to, especially as women when we've been felt a lot of times, that our feelings were a burden. So then you're
Hmm.
holding all of these things in our bodies within the self, and is going somewhere. It's affecting us. And many of us have been living like we're living in a war zone. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we're not even receiving each other in love. We're not embracing other goddesses. We're looking like, I wonder if that's real. I wonder if that's how,
Hmm.
I wonder if she's really like that at home. You know,
Right.
that's that indication of that purification um, that has to happen because we're always on guard,
Yeah.
waiting for
Hmm.
someone to come in and disrupt something. But like you said, when it comes to true purification and that communion with God, there are things that are going to happen that are going to transform people's lives instantly. And I
Hmm.
thank you for sharing those experiences. And if there's anything that you want to close with in this last minute regarding purification, I honor you for your work and I'm thankful to continue to engage in purification because it's time for the revival. It is time
Yeah.
for the revival.
Yes. It's in order to, you know, rise as the goddess, we have to become one with God. One with God. We have to step out of our stories and clear out those negative thoughts, beliefs, and make our intention to be a space of peace and love and wisdom to shine through.